guys. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about reactions. There are five types of reactions, but today we're gonna talk about synthesis reactions and decomposition. So really quick, let's start with synthesis reactions. Synthesis reactions, all it means, it's a combination. It's a chemical reaction where two or more substances, these are your reactants, there are two, and they react to produce one single product. So you see how the A and B, they're two. It's like your eggs and your flour, and here's your cake, and you make one product. You put it all together. So it's a combination. Okay, you combine them together. Okay, so in here, this is again, this produces a single product. So some examples that I'm going to give you is basically, I'm going to give you the reactions, and I want to make sure that you guys understand that it's a synthesis, that you're able to identify that's a synthesis. So all you have to do is look at, oh, it has two or more substances. So right here, it has two substances on the reactant side, and then it produces one single product. So that means it combined. You see how the Na and the Cl are combined together? Okay, so, and of course, sometimes you need to balance it. But again, everything is going to be given to you as long as you be able to identify that it's a synthesis reactant and are able to balance at the end, then you're good. Okay, now the next one, let's look at carbon and oxygen. So carbon and oxygen, they're both gases. So here, if you combine them, it will make carbon dioxide because they bond very nice, and they will make carbon dioxide. So again, that's your A, that's your B. Your plus will tell you that it's two separate reactants, and you just put them, you mix them up, you combine them, and it makes carbon dioxide. Okay, let's look at calcium oxide and water. When you put calcium oxide and water together, basically they combine and they make calcium hydroxide. And I know this one's like, wait a minute, that's not H2O. No, really, you just have to see that this is a reactant. There's two separate ones, two or more substances or reactants, and basically they combine to make one. So you see how they're all combined together. There's no plus in between. So that means they're combined. They're combined completely into one single thing. Okay, so as long as it's one single product, then it's a synthesis. Okay, this one, the last one, if you see H2 and O2, so here when you combine them, you make water. Okay, two molecules of water. Okay, so again, these are your A, that's your B, and this is AB together as a product. They make water. A total different elements than this. This makes a compound. Okay, so that's it for synthesis. So again, make sure you understand that synthesis is a combination. It's two or more substances, and they react to produce one single product. Now we're going to go ahead and go to decomposition. Okay, so decomposition is basically one reactant. It's practically the opposite of this. You see how this one's over here? So this was your product. That you see how it's the opposite? So it's really the opposite of what synthesis is. So it's one reactant. It's just one single thing, and it breaks apart. It's several products. It makes several products. It's like when, I don't know if you've ever heard decompose. Decompose means like when you die, that you're one single person, and then you are put to earth. When you're decomposing here, that's your arrow. Basically, all these reactions occur. They start breaking down. The bonds are breaking down mainly because it requires some kind of either energy, endothermic energy, or something's happening that it's breaking the bonds, and basically that's why A gets separated with B, and we break apart. It's like when we die, we really decompose. Okay, so those are decomposition reactions. Okay, it's just one reactant and it makes several products. So now in here, let's look at that. Okay, so again, look at this. Again, you see how your A, that's your hydrogen, B are bonded together. They're bonded, and then something happens. It requires some energy. It just, something happens that they break apart. So that's your A, that's your water, and your B is your oxygen. All you have to see is that it breaks, like it's one and then it turns to two or more. Okay, so here are several products. So as long as you see one and then they separate, that is decomposition. So again, let's look at aluminum carbide. So in here, we look at the aluminum as your A, your B is your carbon, and then A is, you see how they separate with the plus? Okay, that means it's two separate, like the aluminum is pure aluminum, it's completely, and then chloride is completely, so, it completely changes. Okay, this turns into a metal, and this turns into chloride. Okay, let's look at the next one. Let's look at copper, and you see again this is only one reactant, and it doesn't matter how it switches or like on this one, because this is only one reactant and they separate. This one reactant separates, that means it's decomposing, it's breaking apart. So that copper chloride actually now it's copper chloride. That's this copper chlorate. So that means this copper chloride, now it's copper chloride, and it turns into, and the other part turns into oxygen. It turns into gas. Okay, so basically that's it for today. Mainly you have to see, basically you gotta know the differences. I will be giving you this. I'm gonna give you this with how it separates, but you gotta make sure you understand that when it separates, when it goes from one reactant to several products, that's your decomposition. Okay, and then synthesis. Okay, synthesis is two or more reactants, and then it turns into one single product.